The car is gone. For the time being, it is actually gone to get the twisty chassis rails fixed and the whole car put on a jig and straightened. But that doesn't necessarily mean the task of this rebuild has paused, because these are the panels that I need to fix to go back onto the car before it can get painted. Now, I've gone through and panel beaded both of these front quarter panels that were off the donor car, if you can remember that far back. This is the front end from the donor car, which I've been, as you can see, all through here, I've been slowly panel beading all the dents out of that, fixing that up. So that's the whole front end that's going to go back on the car once it's all straight. This is the boot that you can see has been solder blasted and primed. Good stuff. So these are all your rust holes here that we need to fix, so that then the boot will be ready for paint along with everything else. So, having said that, I think we jump straight into more rust repairs and fix these quarters of this boot. So that's one less thing on the list of things to do. Let's go. And there we have it. The completed little panel sits in there nicely. I did have to put a slight curve in it. Not sure if you can see that. There's a slight curve like that because this tray, this boot lid sort of curves like that. So now I'm going to sit that in there. I'm just going to tack weld it in for now, because I want to make sure that when I create this top section, which is on the bottom now, but this top section, I want to make sure that this edge aligns to the top of the quarter panel, if that makes sense, because this should all align with the side quarter panels in the rear. And I don't want to weld all this in and then realize that this top bit here on this corner is actually a bit wonky and doesn't align with the top of the quarter panel. So I'm just going to tack this all in, and when I create this bottom one, I'm going to tack all that in. So if I need to manipulate it a bit and give it a bit of whoop whoop in any direction, then I can still do that because it's only tacked in. So let's get this tacked in and then see what we're going to do about this top side. Righto, there is the finished left-hand side of the boot. So you would have seen me start with this one here. This is that top section. Weird place for the boot to rust at the top, but it did. So that's that section there done. Pretty straightforward, apart from that little curve that I had to put in there. It's all pretty easy. And then under here you can see just this little panel that kicks up here. I had to replace all that. Now, onto the front corner here. This was again pretty straightforward because it's a pretty flat piece. The only thing I had to put in there was bead roll in. If you can see it there, bead roll in this little step down that goes all the way along there to make way for the water catching, rust producing metal trim that goes along the bottom of these boots. Not sure why they added that trim, but maybe it was to catch water. So this panel here on the outer was pretty straightforward. Now onto the other side. This was the hardest panel to do, and maybe even one of the hardest panels I've had to do on the whole car so far. I could have probably easily done it with a few sections. Maybe if I had have built this section and then created maybe this section up here, I could have done it like that, but I wanted to challenge myself and try to form it out of one piece, which is what I did. So, as you can see, it comes up there around, and you'd think that it would just be one single radius around there and then that would just taper out. But not sure if you can see it, there's actually a ridge that comes up here and then tapers out as it comes up here. So we'll jump to the other side. Not sure if that's any easy to see, but you can see this ridge comes up here, up here, up here, up here, and then just disappears into this radius that comes down here. Now, from that, there's another little radius that forms just about here that then bends around and meets it at the bottom there. So that's what I had to try to do. I had to have one radius that came around here, and then another radius that sort of went up and disappeared up there. So this little section here was pretty tricky, but it's all done. I did cut a little relief hole there for any water that does get in there, similar to, can't really see it with the black paint there, but similar to this little one in there. So now this is done, this is done, that whole side is done. All I've got to do now is do the same thing on this side. And there it is, all done. No more rusty holes in this boot. You would have seen me go through there doing the inner and outer panels of that corner, and that top corner there. I was just going to tack them in. I ended up just welding them all up, grinding them back, because I just want these to be all done and something ticked off the list. Now, how did they all go? This one here, there's a big dip right through there, but there was a dip in this panel already because it's a bit pushed in there. So whether that gets sorted out later and pulls this whole bit up a little bit, who knows? It's only going to need a little bit of filler through there and maybe this little section through here. All through here is fine. There's pretty much fine. That's all fine. Little dip there, little dip through there. Might need about 1 or 2 mils of filler to bring that up. So that's probably the least favorite out of all of them. This here came up really good. So that's got that little bead line through there. All of this is pretty much level. There might be a slight dip right here. Nothing too bad. So this panel came up pretty good. And then this one up the top here is the sort of in-between panel. So a little bit of a dip, but not too bad at all. That again will just need a little bit of filler going through that little weld seam. And then that should all be good. So what have I got to do on this boot next? No more rust. I've got to weld up all these holes for the clips of the rust scoop that came down the bottom. And while I'm at it, I'll probably weld up these holes here, which is for, I think, the European license plate, which we don't have. So I don't want them in there. And I'd rather weld them up than have filler in those spots. So there we have it. One rust-free Fiat 124 boot. So now, what is next? Well, the car is now straight. I've heard word back. It is straight. It was only 2 millimeters off factory measurements when they put it on the jig and they measured it. So that's pretty good. So although the repairs maybe looked a bit horrendous with the twisted frame and the mashed up guards over there, hats off to them. They got it pretty straight. So that's good. Now, so what is next for me? All these guards and everything, there's guards under there. That's the guards that are off the car. That's all getting taken to this place. They're going to sort all that out. Then they're going to solder blast the whole car and then prime it. Obviously, these panels here have already been done. So what am I going to do while that's all happening? I will be doing stuff like ripping apart front suspension, gearboxes, and all of these boxes that are full of parts to rebuild everything, because pretty much everything on this car is either going to be new or totally restored. So there's not going to be anything put on that's a bit... I have many boxes of parts here. I have the ultrasonic washer there, parts up here, parts everywhere. So that will be probably... This will be the last video in this build series you'll see of me doing rust repairs and welding and grinding and welding and grinding. So that, I think, is now done. So the videos from now on, you'll see me pulling stuff apart and rebuilding it. So I hope you all are keen to see something different to the usual rust repairs, because I know I am keen to do something else. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I apologize that this video took so long to get out, but I was busy doing stuff, getting cars to people, taking parts to people, building stuff, as you do. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.